stories, and I wrote a story this week when I found out that Alan had passed. The name of the story is called Farewell to 4 Holly Drive. My sister Eva and I visited Alan a year after our mother died. How familiar the house was when we walked in. Nothing had changed, still the same surroundings and calm, quiet home. We were told that Alan was practicing his craft, which we all know means sleeping. So we headed back to the bedroom to say hello. Once there, we found the room bright and sunny. The windows were open and a warm summer breeze was gently billowing the curtains into the room. I was instantly transported back to the day my mother died. I could even hear the birds singing in the yard, just as I had that day. It was the same type of beautiful summer day, except that now there was only Alan in the room. The furnishings were as they always had been, and many of Mom's things were still on display where she had placed them. The Swedish love knot was still hanging above the bed. How tender to see that. Poor Alan, he seemed lost without our mother. The cheerful room was a stark contrast to his sad and lonely demeanor. We caught a momentary glimpse of the old Alan when we first arrived, but the spark soon left his voice and manner, and he began to withdraw from us. He would not get out of bed, and he soon stopped talking at all. We tried, Eva and I, to cheer him up. I even downloaded a Johnny Cash song on my phone to play for him. Because you're mine, I walk the line. That cheered him a little. Then we each sat on the bed next to him to take a picture and talked and laughed with each other and tried to draw him into the conversation. After a while, we gave him a kiss and a hug and said our farewells. That was our last visit, and now Alan's time on this earth has drawn to a close. I wonder, is our mother waiting for him in the next world? I can just envision her in a flowing ballroom gown, her blonde hair, all soft curls, and her lovely hand outstretched to Alan. And he will say, "Come on, Flick, what are we waiting for?" A warm smile will break out on her face, and that playful sparkle will flash in her blue eyes, and they will move off into the clouds to dance through all eternity. I just hope he has on his tux instead of his suspenders and cap. But now what about us, the living that are left behind? For my siblings and me, it is another milestone marking the permanent loss of our mother. 4 Holly Drive, as Alan always referred to their house, will truly be gone from our lives. The last vestiges of our mother's home, all of the memories accumulated over 20 years of life and marriage, is now gone. I will miss the mural on the kitchen wall, the kitchen table and chairs, padding and all, the old stove that has now passed into the retro stage, and it almost seems cool now. The dining room table always set to perfection, the many shelves of books, the family pictures tucked in every nook and cranny, the sign Alan wrote above about our mother hanging on the garage door entrance that says, "Through this door passes the most beautiful woman in the world." All of these things and more never changed during the years that I visited Mom and Alan at the house. In today's world that is so out of touch and so boring, we now have 24-hour-a-day TV shows demonstrating how to constantly create new spaces and update the look of our home. But you know, at this moment, I am so happy Mom and Alan left things as they were, because it gave me a sense of stability and comfort as time went on, to always know what to expect when visiting them. So now, when I think back about my mother and Alan, I could see the familiar setting in full detail. Whether it was sitting in their chairs watching TV, or having a meal in the kitchen, or images of my mother playing the piano in the music room. And through it all was the banter between the two of them, all wordplay about language. My mother was always quipping phrases in French and Swedish, or recalling the Latin pronunciations of a word or phrase. Alan would play along, and they would giggle and laugh and enjoy the pleasure of sharing the love of language. So, as of today, all of our lives have changed forever. We have reached a new milestone with the loss of Alan. For me personally, this is a farewell to 4 Holly Drive, and all it has meant to me over the years. I am thankful for the memories. I am grateful to Alan for making the last 20 years of my mother's life happier. I continue to miss my mother, and I will miss Alan too. I am just glad they are now in another life, enjoying the music, the dancing, and the language of love for all eternity.
Sir, anybody else that would like to speak?